So, good morning, sewers. I just wanted to show you how to make this cute little pumpkin. This is not a new thing. I think it came out a few years ago. But for those of us who are part of the Vanderhoof Quilters Corner Bundle, last month in September, we got this roundup tool for the Drunkards Path by Creative Grids in our bundle. So I thought I'll show you guys how to make this cute little pumpkin using our grid, using this ruler. So that way you don't have to go out and buy another ruler. So it's super cute, super easy, doesn't take much. So what you will need is a 5-inch wide strip of fabric. You can use the same fabric for the whole pumpkin, or you can do a patchwork. And so go ahead and get like a 5-inch wide strip. You don't need a whole width of a strip, just over half a strip. And then you'll want some green for your leaf, which there again is also with the orange peel. And I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. I went out in the yard, cut myself a chunk of tree branch, a little bit of raffia if you would like, needle. Yes, there is some hand sewing. Some thread, tiny little scrap piece of batting. Literally, it's something maybe 3 inches by maybe 5, and some poly fluff. Once in a while, I'll do a denim camping quilt, rag quilt, and I'll use that puffy batting, and I'll just keep my trim ends and just shred it up. Old pillow, whatever you have works. You can even use fabric scraps, some rice if you want it to be heavy, whatever you would like. So the first thing you're going to do is I used the 5-inch radius side, and you see it's got this circle here. It's kind of marking here with this edge. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay it on your fabric, and you're going to have it so that one point is on the fabric and your other point is on the fabric. Now I did find that with my 25mm rotary cutter or 45mm rotary cutter, sometimes you just got to go slow and kind of put it in at an angle, because sometimes it doesn't want to quite cut that radius just right. But if you have a 10mm, use a 10mm. If not, this works just fine. So I'm just going to take it, cut around that curve nice and slow, pull my excess away, swing my piece around, and then lay it back up and lay it back down and just line it up and go back around. And you can get these fairly close together. So then you get your peel shape. So what you'll do is you'll take 2 peel shapes, lay them directly on top of each other, and sew a 1/4 inch. I should have used a darker thread, but make sure you backstitch at the top, so around, and backstitch at the bottom. Okay, so then now you're going to open this up and flip it so it's right sides out, and push your seam allowance to one side. This makes it much easier for lining up your third one. So you're going to take your third one, right sides facing, and you're going to take, you see how when I push this seam allowance up, you get the point sticking up here? Match those points. And if you want, you can pin, you don't have to. Being that I'm away from my sewing machine right now, I'm just going to slap a pin in there, and you just want to line them up best you can. And then go down, stick another one here in the middle, and one here in the bottom, and then you're gonna sew all the way around. Okay, making sure that you back stitch at the top and the bottom. So after you do that, your piece is going to look kind of like a helmet. So once you have two of them sewn together, you're going to turn one right side out and one wrong side out. So I have my two pieces. One is right side out, one's wrong side out. And you're just going to stack them on top of each other, doing your best to kind of line up the centers. This is really forgiving. It does not have to be like perfectly done, because let's face it, no pumpkin is ever perfect. Slap a pin there, and just take your time, line up your edges. It's just a little easier now if you pin, just so things don't slide around too much on you while it's under the sewing machine. And I'm not pinning right here in the point. I'm just pinning in behind it just to tack it there so it doesn't move too much on me. Okay, now that I got that all pinned. So what we're going to do is you're going to start at the top here. Make sure you backstitch. Sew all the way down this side and come across, or you can stop and backstitch and take it out from under the machine. Then you're going to sew up to about here, and then you're going to skip over and leave yourself about an inch. You need to turn this right the way through, and you need to be able to stuff your batting into it. So once you do that, you're going to come over, backstitch, and then backstitch here at the end. So now I got this all stitched all the way around. I'm just going to open it up here, flip it through. You know, these can make cute little balls for babies too, right? You know, you fill them with some fluff and they can roll it, throw some jingle bells in there. Maybe a cat toy. So yeah, just fluff it like this, spread it open, and fill her up. So now I have it all stuffed, and you're just gonna kind of pinch where you've sewn and just give it a bit of a pull, and it generally will suck that seam inside. If you're like me and you're not a great hand sewer, choose a thread that matches really closely. If you're really good at a hidden stitch, go ahead and use whatever you want. If you're horrible at hand sewing, you could use some Aleene's tacky glue. We got some of that in like a pen form, and that would actually that would work just fine. That'll hold it, unless you have children that are going to use it as a softball, which I have a teenage son who most likely will use it as a softball. So now I got it all stitched closed. As I said, I'm not that good at hand sewing, but you know what? It's my pumpkin. Just turn it to the back. So now what you're going to need is a longer needle, a little heavier, and you're going to want to double thread it instead of single. And then you're going to tie one giant messy knot. So, which is right up my alley, because I'm good at those. Just make sure your ends meet. And just, you know, I see these ladies and they can just like do this like fast, wonderful, clean knot. And then there's me, and no matter how many times I've had people try and teach me, it just does not stick with my brain. And so, one big messy knot. So you're going to come through the bottom, up, and squish until you're through. And then you're going to go back down and through. And you're probably going to want to do this a couple times just to make sure it's going to hold. And you don't have to cinch it like super tight. I'm going to go back through one more time. Now, kind of the nice thing about this is, as long as you haven't pulled it too tight, you can kind of like adjust this. You know, if you want it really, really squishy and low, you can pull it tighter. Or you can kind of let it slack and puff. And that, so it's a little taller. And I think I'm going to leave it like this. I kind of like it a little slacked. And I'm just going to go and tie it with a couple of knots here. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to hide it. Anyhow, and I forgot my scissors. And then just give it a roll and a squish. And there you go. So you have some options. You can glue everything on, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to plug in my glue gun and get it to warm up. While I'm waiting for that to warm up, I used the opposite side. So for the pumpkin, we used the 5-inch rounded edge. And you needed to cut 6, in case I forgot, 6 of those. For the leaf, I'm going to use the 4-inch side, and you're going to cut 2. It does come out a little bigger than you need, but we can just cut it off. So you're going to lay them right sides together, lay them on top of your batting, like so, and stitch all the way around it. So now that I've stitched all the way around this, I'm going to actually flip it upside down and put my scissors between the fabric and the batting and cut off this extra batting, trying not to cut through my fabric. And it doesn't have to be clean, it doesn't have to be pretty, you just want that extra bulk out of your way. And I'm just going to trim my points down. There again, just to remove some extra bulk. And then I'm just going to do some snips, making sure that I don't cut through my thread line. Okay, so I didn't leave an opening. I sewed really right all around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feel and, oh, there we go. Split my fabric pieces and just put a little nick here. Slide the end of my scissors in and give her a slice. So I can use that to cut all the way through. Now we have our purple thing. I can remember where I stuck it and I don't see it. It's here somewhere. Dull pencil works as well. And then just use your pencil very carefully just to push out those points. And just give it a roll between your fingers and you have your leaf shape. Now you do have this gash, nobody's gonna see it. But I do have, where did I stick it? Oh, this chunk of single-sided fusible webbing. And you don't need a big piece, you just need a little piece. And because nobody's gonna see it, I'm just gonna fuse this to the back just to make sure it doesn't rip anymore. So now I have that all fused on. So you have options right now. You could top stitch around the leaf and add some veins if you want, or you can just call it good and leave it like this. With my first pumpkin, I did do the top stitching and I think it looks really cute. So I'm gonna go quickly do that. So now I have my top stitching all done. My hot glue gun is all warmed up, I think. So as you can tell, this leaf is, well, it's a little bigger than I would like. You know, this would be great if you wanted to leave it as an apple. Ooh, that's an idea. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to cut off about the bottom inch. I know, and you're going, oh my gosh, you just wasted all that. But then I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm just going to kind of throw kind of like a W fold in it, and I'm just going to use my glue gun to tack it and then just kind of push it out like that. You can do whatever you want with your leaves. Silk leaves from the dollar store would work, no leaf would work, whatever you would like to use to decorate it. So I'm just going to throw a couple little dabs of glue in there and pinch together. It's not pretty, you're not even going to see it. It's going to be down the inside. And that's warm. So just pinch it, let it cool. Make sure you're unlike me and don't wear it all. I love those crafting shows, and they're like, they never make a mistake, they never burn themselves. That's not me. Okay, and then I have my raffia. You don't have to use it. I just cut some small pieces here, some scrap that I had kicking around, and I am just going to put a dot here in the middle. Poke it in, hold it, kind of let it do what it wants, and then take my leaf, put a little bit of glue on the back of it, and I managed to find the hot glue again with my fingers. Had I been thinking, I could have stuck it right over that ugly seam. Can't move it now though. Oh, glue everywhere. It's not the end of the world though, right? So there we go. And then my little branch, and I'm just gonna glue it in there. So just put some glue on the bottom of your branch. Wine cork would work too. Any number of things, whatever you have kicking around your house or your yard. This does not need to be a costly project. To be honest, this one has cost me nothing because it's all scrap. I don't know why I count my scraps. It's free, but it's all scrap. So there we have it, ladies. Sewers, crafters, whatever you may be, enjoy. Have fun. It's just another use for that wonderful ruler that we got. Have a good day.